Hey everyone, just wanted to take a minute before we get into the podcast and thank our sponsors of the Forge and Brains podcast. We've got Yukon Forge, World Championship Blacksmiths, Farrier Box, and Wellshod. Without them, the podcast wouldn't be possible, and they help us to bring shows and more episodes to you guys and continue to do it. So appreciate you guys showing the support, and throughout the episode, you'll hear more about what they do and how you can help show your support. Thank you, everybody, and thank you to the sponsors of the show. Yeah.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Forging Brains podcast. I'm your host, Riley Kirkpatrick. Got my co-host, Gavin Cooper, with me.
Yep.
Been a little bit. It was a busy September for everybody.
A busy month.
Yeah, and it kind of always is. Everybody's like horse-wise too. Stuff's trying to get done. People are trying to get things taken care of before winter. And so Gavin's been competing a whole bunch. We left off last time. We were kind of talking to Gavin right before he left for Calgary and going to Spruce Meadows. And so be a cool deal. It's almost worked out good that we took a little bit because now you've done 2 contests since then. So we can catch up with you on both of them, and it'll be kind of good.
Yeah, we did Calgary, which was the beginning of September, and then 2 weeks after we had our state contest for Washington, and then a week after that it was the Virginia WCB. So it was just like back, you know.
Stacked up.
Yeah. It was busy time, and then freaking right after Calgary got COVID sickness, so I was out for a week after that. So that sucked too, so yeah, it wasn't ideal.
So how'd Calgary go? Let's just start it off with the first day there. First day there, you kind of guys just get a tour and everything, right?
Yeah, the first day is you sign up, and then it's also a little practice. So you got a couple hours to kind of practice and warm up, and kind of get a feel for the fires and everything, and get rid of some of that jet lag. Because a lot of them
everybody pretty guarded up? Is everybody just making like a quick plane stamp or something? Not trying to really show.
Yeah, not really. Well, so Craig didn't really bring a ton of steel. So basically we were limited to, there was only a little bit of 5/8 square, and then there was just random cuts of steel. So there wasn't a ton of different things. So I noticed like the Canadians had brought their own concave. So they were making a couple of the egg bars, and then I needed to try and make another 2 and Fullard. So there was a little bit of 5/8 square. Troy drove up, so he brought a little bit of steel. So we were able to make a 2 and Fullard from his steel. And then, yeah, people they do kind of put a guard on where they don't really want to showcase too much. But at that contest, or this year, so like last year, remember we had that Morgan shoe that you made where there was the straight inside. Like, I think people were trying to keep that one secret on how they were doing all that. Like this year, there wasn't any like tricky shoes like that needed like a special jig or, you know.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. Last year it was like the tongs and then that shoe.
Yeah.
People had some things they were doing.
Yeah. So this year there wasn't anything like super secret or fancy that needed to be kind of like, this is my secret that I'm going to win this class with, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think there was anything crazy that needed to be hid that way. Like it was all pretty basic in the sense like a 2 and Fuller. The thing that a lot of people noticed is, so I was using Troy and Stan's block, and they have those heels forged into the block. So you run it through. That was the thing a lot of people were coming over and looking at, like, oh, this block, it's so cool. It's got the heel slopes into it, you know, and like taking pictures of it and stuff like that. I think that was kind of the thing a lot of people noticed.
Okay. Yeah.
But
that day was good. Everybody was probably just like getting used to the new time change and everything. It seems like a lot of those international guys try to get there like a couple days before.
Yeah, and for me, it's only an hour and a half flight, so there's like
same time zone.
Yeah, different time zone.
Oh, I guess it is just
a 1 hour, but it's not far for me. But some of them guys, you know, they got 14-hour flights to get there.
Yep.
And so that, I mean, they say, what's that fluid like? When you're sitting around and you got to get that
lactic acid.
Yeah, that lactic acid, like that buildup from sitting on a plane. And so it is good to get a little sweat on and, you know, make a shoe right there on the practice day.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
Was there any big changes in like the grounds this year?
No, nothing crazy. The only thing different was they had the Duchess of Edinburgh or something. She came by, so she's like royalty, for over there. And so Craig and a couple of the guys, they got to go over. Like they had this area boarded off, so like she had her own like Secret Service guys and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like, so Craig got to shake his hand, and like they kind of picked one person from each country to be able to shake her hand and say hi and stuff like that. But that's the only thing that was kind of different.
It's like their president or something.
Like, well, because she's like almost like a queen or whatever,
yeah,
something like that.
Royal family.
Yeah, something that we
Crazy.
don't have.
Yeah,
It'd almost be like meeting Don Jr. in a way.
Yeah,
it's kind of how I would think it.
I don't think I've talked to the guy. I'm not very formal with him.
Like, because Donald's our president,
Yeah,
I would think he would be a lot more secure than like the Duchess or whatever. But yeah, she's still pretty, highly regarded in that sense as royalty.
So what was the first contest day? What would you guys have to do?
It's funny. I was thinking back. So now that we've had a month to reflect on how I've had to reflect on the contest and kind of think about the things I said about how I was going to go about going into Spruce. And I remember saying, I was like, I want to start the week off hot and I want to do really good on the first day. And I did exactly opposite of that.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. My bar shoe was 40th place. So it was like the worst bar shoe I'd made, like out of all my practice shoes. Everything. Like it was horrible,
What went bad about it? Like, was it just going bad from the get-go?
I think I just kind of got myself pumped up a little too much in the sense of like I was like just a little too excited, and I kind of was running out a little bit of gas making that shoe by myself, just energy, and my arm, they're kind of cramping up a little bit. When you kind of get that pump going and like you want to hit it hard, but you can't hit it hard because your forearm's so big.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of what got me on that. I think I was just a little too overconfident, to be honest.
And so, like, was the shoe just straight up, like, not forged enough?
Yeah. I mean, it measured and everything like that, but, like, compared to all the other shoes, like, it was a 40th place shoe. Like,
just wasn't sweet.
Yeah. It just needed a lot of refining in it, to be honest. Since day one of Forge and Brains podcast, Farrier Box has wanted to work with us, and we love the fact that Farrier Box works with Forge and Brains podcast. Every other month, they're sending you a box of tools that you can put straight to work in your everyday practice. They're not tools that have just sprung on the market. They're actually tools that have been tested and used to figure out if these are actually worthy products that you can actually put to work. I personally know that Bodhi Turnka, he's the one that tests these products and makes sure that they are worthy enough to be sent out in the Farrier Box. So go to their website, farrierbox.com. You can use the code BRAINS, and that'll get you 25% off your first month's box. That's a pretty damn good deal. Pretty much in every box that has come, I have implemented them in my day-to-day practice. So this last month, with the Virginia WCB on the next list for an individual contest, it came with a set of tongs and 2 pieces of steel just to get you started on your practice. So you can have a jump start on figuring out how to make them shoes. There's also another product in there that was recommended by a previous guest on Forge and Brains, Tyson Clark, because he is actually the judge for the upcoming Virginia contest. So if you're looking for something to spicing up your everyday shoeing practice, look at Farrier Box as a way to innovate your shoeing practice and just kind of introduce you to different tools that you may not necessarily try and get by just searching online and get them. They're going to send them to you without the hesitation that you may or may not want it. And then you get to try them and test them out whether you like them or not. 9 times out of 10, I'm using every product that gets sent to me in the Farrier Box, so you won't be disappointed with anything that gets sent to you. So check it out, farrierbox.com. Use code BRAINS. Save yourself 25% off your first month's box. And then every other month after that, you'll be receiving the Great old Farrier box in the mail.
And now, like when you were looking at the table the first day, like some contests we go to, like just the top 10 on the table is real sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But at this contest, it's like the 50 best from around the world. Was the whole table pretty sweet?
Yeah, I'd say it'd probably be like from 30th up. They're all going to be,
Okay.
like top 10 worthy type shoes, right? And then 30th down, they're going to be kind of meh. And it was kind of, it sucked because, like,
You're like, and there I was.
yeah. Well, this was the thing. I was like looking around, like, so they have the fences back, so you can't get right up to the table and look for it. So you can't really so you're looking from a distance, and you're like, I think that's it, but it might not be, and they
like,
kind of
I wouldn't do that.
like the last 15 shoes, they just kind of like stacked on top of each other, like laid over like this, and I didn't think my shoe was in that pile. I was like, there's no way mine's in that.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, there it was. Like, that's why I couldn't find it. Because it was in that wreck of them.
How did your other shoe do in that class?
The tool and fuller on the foot was 17th in that class. So, I mean, I was all right. I knew that was going to be a real struggle, that class. I mean, I just haven't done a ton of front tool and fullers on feet,
Yeah, and it's like one of those shoes on, like, there's no hiding in it.
No.
Like, all your struggles show.
Yeah.
Like,
and a lot of them did.
Clearly.
Like, it was a pretty good sized foot, so it was like 13 and a half inches in the straight. And we used Stan's bigger block, which was like a 7/8 section. And mine still looked like a St. Croix rim on that foot. It was scant looking. And in hindsight, like, I didn't fuller it deep enough. So, like, it didn't open it enough. So that also makes it look skinnier.
Makes it look skinnier, and it makes that outside edge not get all the way stood up.
Yep.
And when the outside edge doesn't get all stood up, that's, I think, where you get that St. Croix look. Because, like, you can see the outside, so you're like, whoa, what's like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Your eyes catch it right away. You're like, man, everything's just under.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, like, up and sharp.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like,
it didn't have that appearance.
That makes sense.
So,
and if you don't get that, then you kind of, like... It almost always makes the heels look chunky and the toes scant. No matter... Even if it's not, even if you're on the foot surface, and you measure it, the toe's wider than the heels. But like when you're looking at it from the ground surface, it always kind of screws with your fucking eyes. That you're like, man, these heels look big in my face.
Especially in a picture.
Yes.
Like a picture. Yes. It's crazy how you can be looking at it in person, like right in front of your face, and then you take a picture of it and you look at it on your phone. And you're like, how did I not see that when I was looking at it straight in my face? Dude,
it's one of like those phenomenons that I still think about all the time. That's like, I do it a lot. It's like if I'm making shoes or shoe a horse, and I'm like, man, something's weird here. I'll just like throw my phone up and take a picture and re-look at it standing upright, and you're like, oh yeah,
right
there.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, but for some reason, dude, it's like something fucks up with our head when we bend over. We're like,
it's weird
from here.
So many times, like you get done with a job and you're like, this is sick, like this is sweet, and then you take a picture of it and you look at it and you're like, this is shit. This sucks. I can't show it.
Delete
yeah, exactly. Like, it's funny how that works, and I think taking pictures helps out a lot.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So it's funny to me of like, like 17th, it was just from not fullering deep enough, really. Like, if your section would have been a little sweeter and a couple other things, like, dude, how quickly that jumps you up.
Yeah, and I think a big thing was just fit. I think that's where that's probably what dictated that class, was like how good you could fit the front half and the back half of the foot.
Yep.
I think that's kind of what placed people where they're at,
Yeah, it's a tool and fuller, especially fronts, are like a very big horn test.
Yeah.
Who's good on the horn.
And that was kind of a tricky class. Like, they tried to get a lot of the horses the same size, but
that's nice.
Like Stan's, his was a freaking Percheron looking horse. Like, It was like almost 15 inches in the straight, and he used that same block that I did.
Yeah.
So like he had a big ass horse, and a couple of
Yep.
them were pretty big, and then some of them were small. But
Yeah. Normal footed.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it didn't really come out the
But
gates hot like I wanted.
it didn't. So you wouldn't say you got the whole shot that day.
No, definitely
It's
did not.
like so
Definitely did not.
day two, like, was it pretty easy to shake off that day? Like, be ready for day two, or did you go into day two with it hanging on you a bit?
No, I figured it's time just get it over with. It's time to redeem yourself.
Yep.
Do better. Don't
Yep.
like quarrel
Don't
on
cry.
it. Yeah, don't let it drag you down in the sense of like, oh, that's just where I'm gonna be the rest of the contest. Like you
Yep.
got to pick yourself up and be like, no, I'm gonna do better than I did yesterday. Like I know I can do better than that, and I'm gonna push on and try to do that in this go. So don't
What was the class day two? What do you guys have to do?
speed forging. So that was the set of concave egg bars, pair of fronts,
Yep.
and then a pair of hinds, and
3 stud holes in each, right?
yep, bob punch, quarter clip, safe toes, and then going into that class, I knew that one was going to probably be, like, before the contest even started, I figured that was probably going to be my worst class of the week, just from the sense of it was the least amount of shoes that I practiced, was that one.
Okay.
Because, like,
Okay.
I had a hard time wrapping my brain around spending $30 on concave to do a go that I'm never going to nail on any of the shoes.
Yeah.
So,
And that's hard too, because that's a very choreographed class.
very, very.
It's
Like,
tight. It's just tight timed with a lot of steel.
exactly. Like,
A lot of tasks in each shoe.
yeah, there's no thinking time. There's just reacting time, like,
Yep.
throughout that whole class. And, one thing I think, so I had Marcus Appleyard video for me every day, like, because he was a steward and he can get up in there. And I think something that benefits me a lot is, like, watching the videos back and editing them. And I'd ask, like, so Troy, I asked him, like, oh, what do you think I could be doing better? And he's just like, stop doing all these tippy tappy things, like when you do your thinking thoughts, right? And
Yep.
I was watching back the egg bar day for the video, and I noticed myself, like, just doing simple taps, wasting time. It could be 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there, and that adds up to like 5 minutes down the road throughout the
Dude,
class.
I'm so guilty of that.
Yeah. And
Watchmaker bullshit.
it just comes from not running that class practice in time. So I didn't necessarily have the system figured out in my head yet.
How did you end up placing on that day?
I think I was like 21st and 22nd. So the fronts were
Okay.
21st and the hinds were like 22nd, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't terribly upset about that.
No, a little bit middle of the road, but so it's probably like good, safe shoes.
Yeah.
Just didn't have all the tight, crisp things that the other ones had above you that are just like. No, because that's definitely a class where it's like there's not a lot of steel to fuck with there either. Like, so things just need to come out. Right. So, like, that makes sense on, like, you'd have to be very planned out of how hard you could hit each thing.
Yeah.
To get through some stuff.
Yeah, and there wasn't any time to do 2 weld heats on a shoe. Like, you needed to have it done in 1 weld heat and roll on. So that was a tough thing. Like, you just needed to get it welded in 1 heat. And, something that I noticed, there was only like 2 guys that did it, and George Rogerson was one. Everybody would start with the fronts because it was 3/8, 7/8. And so basically you get those fronts done, and then you're kind of physically, now you have to make the hinds. And the hinds mostly suffered throughout the day, but George's, since he did his hinds first, he made nice hinds, and then he still made really nice fronts as well.
Yeah.
So that was kind of one thing I noticed that probably benefited a guy in that class was.
I can see that because the hinds have a little bit more shape to them. They're a little bit harder shape.
Yep. Yeah, the fronts
Really?
were pretty close to a circle,
They're an oval. They're
Yeah.
like kind of like front to backy. You know what I mean? Like they could be flopped. Like you're just kind of making.
There's no big quarter in them or anything like that.
No, not a lot of shape. Where it's
Yeah.
like the hinds definitely had some shape to them, some character to them.
They did.
and it's a shape that concave doesn't really want to be in.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
Yeah.
like not super easy at all. Like that. No, that makes sense that somebody would do it that way. I was wondering if there was going to be guys doing it the hinds first, or if somebody was going to run the class side to side. So you were
like
just working one side of the horse and then work the other side of the
like a
horse. You know what I mean?
left front and a left hind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be probably not the most ideal way.
No, it just depends on on the dude. It's like that's where I'll screw up is forgetting what side I'm on. You know what I mean? If like I can just stay on one side of the horse.
Yeah.
I
We
like
had
that.
I mean, leading up to it, we'd just take a Sharpie and I'd measure out where each nail hole would go. And then when it's cold in the straight, you'd put your center dot on there and then take your punch and punch where all the nails go. So that way when you turn it, you just boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Beforehand, Troy made up this jig where the steel sets in it and it had all the marks on it already. And you just set that piece of steel you need into it, and then you just mark it all there so you wouldn't have to put out a marker or anything.
Super smart.
Yeah. It saves more time in the sense of like not having to Sharpie because you're not allowed to mark steel before the time starts.
Yep.
With a Sharpie or pencil.
Did anybody else have anything like that?
No. I mean, some guys had like they would set it up on the anvil and they would marker lines on the anvil and then use those. But nothing really like how Stan and Troy set up.
Okay.
One thing
smart.
So a big thing that they wanted to see on that was they wanted to make sure all the holes, the stud holes, were 8 mil, the holes, and my stud punch wasn't tuned up, so it was almost a little small. So something that cost me a lot of time was I had to go through all my stud holes like 2 times.
Double check them.
Yeah, because they were all small, and I had to use a mandrel to open them up. So that cost me some time just by not having my my tool tuned properly.
That's it. I thought that before. It's like, man, that is like, from a toolmaker standpoint, that is a very hard one to have. Sweet.
Yeah. Another great sponsor of the Forge and Brains podcast is America's Farrier Supply, Well Shod. They are always known for the $10 flat rate shipping, and you can't get much better deal than that, hands down, because everything that we use and pretty much is pretty heavy, and a lot of times when you place an order from somewhere else, shipping is going to be very expensive. Well Shod outdoes everybody else in the market because of that $10 flat rate shipping. They are the biggest farrier supply that we know and have in the U.S. They make their own anvils in-house. They have the Cliff Carroll anvils. They have the Scott anvils, and then they also have the Austin Eden Scott anvils for the 200-pounder, and then down to like 70-pound anvils as well. They also have every other tool that you could possibly ever dream of on their website or in stock, always at a fingertip away to order and buy. Every single horseshoe that you could ever possibly need is on their website as well. So you can go to their website, wellshod.com, use code BRAINS, and show your support Forge and Brains podcast and Wellshod. So go check them out. We thank Wellshod for supporting the show and helping us provide content to all you guys and sharing the insight that everybody has to offer, throughout the years of trials and tribulations of being a farrier. Hopefully that it can pass on information to new people or people that have been in this their whole life and just share those details with everybody. So thank you, Wellshod. Go show your support. Shop on their website and use that code BRAINS. Help show your support. Thank you. Yeah.
Because it's like a stud punch has to be perfectly circular too.
It's so hard to grind that.
If you just have like a little bit of an oblong to it, well, now it's too big one way and too small the other way, and it's like very, very hard without having a lathe to make
mill it
perfect. Yeah, and it's like even with the lathe, well, then once you punch it a couple times, you're probably going to screw it up. So it's like, I knew that was going to be kind of a hard deal. I would have had a hard time with that. You almost need like a sacrificial stud punch and then a finish punch.
Yeah.
That comes in like almost pretty cold and just gets to perfect size.
Yep.
So it's done.
Yeah. That's what Troy had, and I used his because he was in the go before. He was in a go before me, but.
So he's done, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to open them all up. yeah,
That's hard.
cost time. And in
Yep.
that class, there's not much time available.
Oh, fast one. It seems really, really fast. 4 shoes, doing all that welding and all that hole punching is a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and then the third day was the plain stamp with a masslet clip on a foot and the Danish hind, and we had ran that practice go at home quite a bit, so I felt confident about that.
Yep.
And it was actually kind of funny. The horse I shod, all the Casserly boys each did a foot. So Jack Casserly was on the left front, and then I was on the left hind, and then Ben Casserly was on the right hind, and then Andrew was on the right front. And afterwards, they were like, "Oh, we'll cut you in on the profits from shoeing this horse."
Dude, how cool though! Like, it's always crazy to me to like that horse then just walks off. You know what I mean? And no one really knows
Yeah,
that like that horse got shod by like a lot of those horses there were shod by such top hands. Like,
my legends. Yeah,
yeah, such a cool deal that horse like cool for you too. Like for us, like the Casserleys are like such a well-known family. You know what I mean? So it's cool you got to shoe a horse even.
yeah, handy
That
dudes. Right
they
there.
did the rest of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Like, and I didn't even realize it until like after the fact. Like, I was talking with Andrew, and he's like, "Yeah, we did all the feet on this one, and you were the only one that did the other one." And I was like, "Huh, I didn't even notice during the day."
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, they're cool guys.
The
Very
cool
handy.
thing was so the horse I drew, I mean, I cut 11 3/4 inches of 3/8 7/8, and all the horses that we did practicing were basically in that range. So I was like, "This is right in the wheelhouse of what we've been practicing. This will
Yep.
be hunky dory."
No, that's nice that it's like not a big surprise all of a sudden, something you have to get used to with your eyes
Yeah, like
there.
Troy's horse, it was all busted up. It was quite a bit bigger. I think it was like 13 1/2 inches or something is what he cut, something around there, where it was busted way up on that outside quarter, and he just did
Okay.
3 nails on the inside, and then he did like those 2 right up in the toe. Like, that's a tough draw to get.
Those are tough, dude, but it is like if guys like Troy, like most time they knock them out of the park and they look freaking sweet.
Yeah, he did good. Yeah,
Yeah.
he nailed
It's
it.
like I love those broken up feet in competitions. Like those are some of my favorite shoe jobs in the end. Of like
Yeah.
to look at people's like Money always does a sweet job with them
Hmm.
and stuff. It's like, man, they look really, really cool.
I always think back to that the classic when Travis Smith did that draft
Yep.
hunt.
Yep.
You know, like that's a
Oh, that's one's like burnt in my head.
picture perfect, like
Yeah,
horseshoeing job.
Yeah, I remember walking around the corner and them having that hind foot up and being like, "Whoa, look at
Yeah,
that!" Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're like,
yeah,
what
I
in the
remember
hell?
like all of a sudden, dude, everybody just swarmed around that foot. They're like,
Yeah, that's the
"Yeah,
best
that's
shot.
it, that's it, right there."
I
Like,
remember watching them mark it, like with the pencil and stuff, where they were gonna put nails. I was like, holy cow! And
dude,
yeah, because they were doing that. They did like the hard stops at the end, right?
yep,
And I was like, whoa.
dude, it was so cool. It was just like one of those shoe jobs. Like every once in a while, you see one done on a broken up foot, and you're like, I know that foot screwed up, but aesthetically, that shoe looks so cool on there.
Yeah.
It's like it just looks like it's one of those things. Like it just looks so natural, almost as natural as a steel shoe on a horse can look. But it's like sweet, sweet job.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember from that day. So Stephen Bean, he won that class, the plain stamp,
Okay,
and Grant Watt was second place. And Grant Watt's foot, I thought, was like one of the sweetest jobs I've seen all
really?
weekend. Like, it was cool. Like, it was like almost like the picture perfect shape of a hind foot. You know, like that shape that we always think is like it looks like a coffin bone, and like the nails were all square. Like, it looked so sweet. That was my favorite job of the weekend.
Just a real nice one.
Yeah, it's just nothing crazy. It's just aesthetically, like everything was there. So that was my favorite job of the whole week, to be honest, was that job.
How'd your Danish hind come?
I think it was like 20th in there. So practicing that shoe, I was always coming up short inside. So on the day, I was like, oh, I'm not going to make this short inside. And then I could see it on there. It said long inside, silver
Oh
Sharpie.
no, dude!
So I
Oh,
made her a little long inside. So yeah,
got on the muscle a little bit on
yeah,
that
drew it
one.
out just a wee little too much. Yeah, it was like
How were you feeling good physically wise throughout the contest, or was it like pretty hard on you?
no, I felt fine actually, which was good.
Yeah.
The weather up there actually was perfect. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't humid or anything like that. Like Virginia, where we were just at, like it was 80 degrees, but it had like 80% humidity,
Oh
and
man.
it was freaking killer there. Like
Yeah.
brutal. You
Yeah.
know.
Hard to do anything.
Yeah, last year, the Pool of Shoes days, like at Calgary, I was right in the sun, and it was like 90 degrees that day, and
Yep.
the uh, caramel apple also incident
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
kind of made me feel.
You didn't have one this year?
Oh, I had one every day,
Oh my god.
but
You just did it again.
oh
You're
yeah,
like,
yeah, I had a
screw
caramel
it.
apple every day. Apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Oh, until it doesn't.
Oh, they're the best. Like those apples are so good. So good. But I waited until after my goes to have one.
Good idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
treat yourself, dude.
I waited. Um,
Oh,
Something I've been trying to do a lot more of is hydrating.
yeah.
Being on top of my water and getting the electrolytes and all that crap in there and taking
Yep.
care of myself a little bit more.
Have the water before, not afterwards. Like
Yeah, exactly.
that's one of the keys there.
Yeah,
It's like start with a tank of fuel.
yeah, and I think from the first year to the second year, just from going to all these contests and you just build kind of like your stamina throughout the year. So I think
Yep.
that helps as well. Just, progressively being able to keep going. And it was
Oh
a
man.
little bit easier in that sense of like not running out of gas throughout a go.
Yep.
And I think the weather also was a big help in that.
Well, it's huge. It's one thing that like you look at like some of the older competitors even, you know what I mean? It's like even just think of yourself from like 25 to 35, how much harder it is to be physical sometimes. You know what I mean? Of like guys that are then another 10 years older than us, it's like it's impressive how
Yeah.
athletic they still can be. Like it is a very hard physically demanding deal.
That's
So it's
something
like
practice
cool.
practicing with Troy all the time, and I like, man, I used to be able to do that when I was 22.
Yeah.
Be able to keep going and going, and just 10 more years on a guy, like you can feel that catch up to you.
Yeah, and it's like I still feel like I'm probably sometimes better physical shape right now than I was at 25, but it takes way more upkeep.
Yeah.
It's not like I gotta watch what I eat.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta watch what I do. Like I'm not just gonna like eat like crap and not drink any water and somehow still be able to function. Like no, I gotta.
It's crazy.
Take care of myself.
Hey, you could just go out and have a couple beers at night and be totally fine the next day.
Oh yeah, that's not happening.
No,
not happening anymore.
Not happening for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and yeah.
You were saying how like earlier we were talking before, like it's kind of nice rooming with Stan and Troy because they're pretty like they're trying to take care of themselves at night and just relax and everything before the next day.
Yeah, going out, nothing like that. Like just I like a regimen, kind of to my day anyways, and kind of a homebody, so it's like I don't necessarily want to. I mean, you're around hundreds of people all day long, and to some people, like that much interaction, like can overload your senses in a way, right? And you're just ready to like just go chill out and relax. And that was nice. Is like they didn't want to have to go out to the bar or anything like that. Like we just go have dinner and then go chillax.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And like the last 2 nights, we just ordered a pizza on the way home and ate pizza at the house and chilled out. So it was kind of nice to be able to rest a little bit, get ready for the next day.
How was it? What was day 4? What did you guys go into?
Pool of Shoes day. And this year they picked the Roadster. It was 12 inches of 1/2x1, and then the Trotter shoe, which was 10 inches of 3/8x1.
Yep.
And that was actually my best class throughout the week. The Roadster was 6th, and then the Trotter was 3rd. So that
Oh,
was
nice.
day late and $1 short. If only you know, did that
Add
in
that
some of the
to the
classes
rest.
beforehand. But
And was that a class that you had practiced the most, though? With
no,
those shoes?
the Roadster was probably the least amount that I made, but I made quite a bit of the Trotters.
Okay.
Because we'd made Roadsters. The biggest thing was just how to get it to size. Not
Yep.
over drawing one of the branches. Basically,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a shorter, squattier type Roadster. It's more of a table shoe than one that would go on a foot.
Yep.
And with 12 inches, like it'd be really easy to grow that outside and come long. So the biggest thing was just making the right heel caulk and then, not overdrawing it.
Not getting after it too much.
Exactly.
Get it made. It is kind of crazy. The Roadster is like that one shoe that it's like, you could probably cut 11.5 inches of 1/2x1.
Yeah.
And put that on so many horses.
Yeah.
Like it can cover so many things of like, because there's so many places you can rob or pack steel into on those things.
Yep. Yeah, and gain it, lose it.
Still kind of look the same almost. Like not even like screw with the looks too much.
Yeah.
So that is a.
Yeah,
I'm sure that came out good for you because you said we've been making Roadsters now for like
a couple of
amount of years of like and putting them on feet to like for size. So it's like you learn pretty quick of like when to stay off of them, and when to get after them.
The cool thing about finishing there was like a sense of like being able to know like I can do it. I can get my shoes up in there. Like I am able to make shoes of that quality to get up in there. So it was like a taste of, how to get there. So it's almost a way that I can implement it into future contests. Is like, you can do it. You're worthy enough to be able to do that. You just have to get yourself to that point.
Yeah. No, that's a good way of looking at it, man. It is like, it was a little bit of a taste there.
Yeah. And that's kind of going into, like Virginia, like I was thinking that to myself is like throughout the year, like Amarillo, I won a class and you get a taste of that and you're like, I can do this again. And like, I want to do it again. And it's like, and you come up short and it's like, shit, I can do it, but why didn't I,
It was just right there.
It's a little bit frustrating in that sense, like, you're getting your mind ready to do it, but then you don't do it. And it's kind of frustrating at the same time.
No, it's the weird mental battle of competition that you like everybody, you watch everybody go through it. Not everybody, but you watch some guys go through it of like, don't expect like a bunch of like self-gratification until you get to like a certain point. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's little victories that you're tasting here and there, but it's like people that want to win and be the top number one, it's like you really got to stay a little unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't.
You know what? You got to stay hungry.
Exactly. We've also got the great sponsor and partner of Forge of Rain podcast, World Championship Blacksmiths. Without the World Championship Blacksmiths, we wouldn't necessarily have the community that we have already as farriers amongst us. The WCB is not about shunning the folks that don't compete. We're about getting together the people who do. Go ahead and be yourself because you think it is a private club. The fact that there are so many hardworking men and women that don't interact is a shame. When several farriers get together for a hammer-in or going to talk about shoeing this one gelding, ideas skyrocket and the mind goes wild with possibilities. So if you're looking for a place to test your abilities and grow your skill set, the World Championship Blacksmiths is the place to do that. Upcoming next is the National Finals in Fort Worth, Texas. That is December 3rd, and the registration deadline is November 22nd. And then after that, they have the Winter Clinic that we'll talk about here in a little bit. That is January 15th to the 17th, and the deadline is January 8th. And after that, it's the West Texas Ranch Rodeo, March 22nd. Contests on their website, they have swag and tools that you can get. They have the new Seahorse toolboxes and tool cases in stock again, so you can find those on their website, and they have the catatonic hammers in stock as well. So you can go to their website and use code BRAINS, and that'll save you 10% off on their website for orders. It's not including contest fees and net membership, but support those who support you and go online and find the World Championship Blacksmiths as a place where you can invest in yourself by investing in your skill set and grow as a person, becoming friends with those that are around the world and in the United States. And you probably find somebody that lives close to you and reach out in a community just like that. Yeah, that's it. Got to stay hungry.
That's like all of the top winners. That it's like I kind of related to like the same as like dudes that hunt hard. It's like they got a little bit of that killer in them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the guys that are like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw self-care to the side for a little here, and I'm going to do a little bit. It's like...
And just keep going.
I want to win. I want to win. Like, whatever I got to do.
Yeah, that last day when it's raining, snowing, whatever, and you're like, we're going to suffer through this to do it.
You just kind of got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's like I've noticed that with a lot of like the top competitor guys that it's like, you got to be a little bit... You can't weaken any way through it and be too happy. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a sad thing maybe to say, but it's like, it is a thing about it.
Take your wins, but just don't loathe in them forever. Like, know that it's just a short temporary, you know.
The next competition's coming up.
It's going to be here before you know it.
And it's the hard thing for like me to chew on sometimes for competition wise compared to like hunting wise, you can have that killer in you, and it's very real life. It's no like you are still like very close to win or lose all the time, like first to second type deal.
Yep.
But it's like at a horseshoeing competition, it's just a guy deciding. So it's like kind of like, you know, if like after you judge some competitions and really look at shoeless or like, you know, judge tables closely, you're like, man, top 5 could have had it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could have been almost any of them right there. Like, it was so split, so close. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think if a guy's in the top 5, like, he should be pretty pumped on himself. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it could have been anybody's just the way the wind. It's just the way the wind blew that day. You know, type deal.
Yeah.
It's like that's
yeah, that's what I remember.
Something to remember
when we judged Fort Worth. You know, like those top 5 shoes. Like, it was just the smallest little detail that, you know, determined first through second.
So, the smallest.
Yeah.
The smallest of details.
It was literally, I think it was like an 1/8 inch that decided, you know,
it's like second. The one salmon sideway was just like one barely being like a little unflat and like the other one's nails just snapping in.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, being a tool guy, you're like, dude, that could have been that it was cooled at the right temperature compared to this one.
Yeah.
That it was like, that made the nails super sweetly fit. It's like, so it's like, it's a hard thing to remember though. It's like, even if you got second or third, it's like, man, be pretty stoked on that.
It's an accomplishment, you know, like,
yeah, it's huge.
Feels good to get to that point, but now it's like, you want more.
You do. Yeah. And I feel for everybody at Spruce because all those guys there, like,
they
can
want
whip
that.
The ass. They want that, and they can whip that, and they've tasted it before. Pretty much every guy there has tasted the win before.
Yep.
And so it's so hard when they go home and they're like, yeah, I got 10th or I got 5th. You know what I mean? Or like to say their place, and they're like so bummed about it, but it's like,
it's the best of the best.
It's still a huge accomplishment, man. It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and so this year, huge congratulations to Stephen Bean. This is his 6th world title. You know, and is after the 8-year hiatus since Calgary had disappeared, you know. So
I thought it was super cool, man. It's like, what a cool thing for him to say that he's won both Calgarys.
Yeah. Yeah. Even it's crazy, like, say you take a year off competing and you take 1 year off and you're like, man, I feel like I've fallen behind. That was, I mean, not that he stopped competing altogether, but that's 8 years in between a world title. Of
that style.
Yeah. Like, that's impressive.
He's still competing hard, still like doing quite a bit. I mean, he's done great at Stoneleigh multiple years. Yep. Great at Classic. Like, they've done very good at Classic. The dude, Steven's one of those guys that he's not, you know, no disrespect to like Steven at all. It's like, he's not a spring chicken at all. He's not 20s.
No,
you know I mean? Like, Steven's in his 40s, and is like, the dude is very athletic, very good shape, very cognitively there.
Yep.
And a very hard competitor. So it's like cool to see, man. It's like
yeah, and we'll be having him on the podcast here soon. We just have to get a mic sent over to him in England, and then we'll be having Steven on the pod.
Yeah, it'd be cool to catch up with them about it and
Something
find out
else that was really cool was I hadn't ever heard this done before, but I was talking with Matt Argo before, and Matt was saying, he's like, yeah, if we, well, so I was noticing like Matt striking for him during the go, and I was
Yep.
like, dude, you're like Johnny on the spot. Like, you are probably like the best striker I've seen. Like, you are there. Like, you know every step that he's gonna do, and you have everything ready. Like, you're planning almost 3 steps ahead. Like, and you were just on it. And I was like, that's impressive to see and like watch. And he's like, well, yeah, if Steven wins it, he's giving me 10% of the earnings. So
He had some
Steve,
skin in the game.
yeah, he had skin in the game, and so since Steven won it, he gave him 10%. So we got 7,500, out of
That's
Steven's
cool, man.
winning. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty damn cool.
No, that's super cool. Yeah. That's a lot of times the striker for those guys are a little bit of the unsung heroes.
Yeah.
Because they make the class go so well. You know what I mean? So it's cool that Steven recognized that he was like worth that much.
I think, yeah, that definitely helps out a guy. Like, say he's not a spring chicken, and being able to have those to help you out is huge.
Oh, it's huge,
especially with the 2-man classes.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that too, just with Troy.
Yeah, it's
like
huge
having
help.
a Troy in a 2-man class is
it's huge.
So much compared to if you're running the hammer a lot yourself.
It's hard.
Man, and trying to stay on top of everything, just having somebody hand you your next step sometimes or tell you that's good enough, that's where we should be, is like it's very, very valuable in the go.
Yeah, it eases the mind, like you're headed in the right direction, you can keep going on.
Oh, dude, anything that's high pressure situation, it's like almost, it must be human nature that you're like, yeah, no, that's right, and then you're like, are you sure that's right?
Yeah.
You like, you're second guessing. It's like if you have somebody to quickly just like redo that confidence for you of like, no, that's good. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're good to go.
Reassuring.
Yeah, it's very reassuring, man. It's like it helps because then it's not weighing on you going into the next step. You can fully get it out of your head and move on.
Kind of goes back to like
rolling.
that thing I was saying with the concave, like thinking tippy tappy, like yep. You can get on it.
They'll hang on you. You'll be 3 heats down, and you're like, "Was that good? Actually?" Like you're still hung up on that problem that happened 3 heats ago, wondering if you should fix it or try to fix it or where you can slip it in. And that whole entire time, you're fucking up the current heats.
That's a good point.
You're not in them at all. You're like you're in your current heats, and you're like just kind of going through the motions subconsciously because you're still thinking about the other thing. It's like in shooting, it's like a thing where it's like on your bow, you have like multiple things you need to go through on your checklist of like, you need to pull the weight, get into your back, get to your anchor, level your bow, aim it, and now you have to start punching through the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't write those first steps off in your head, you're going to be pulling your trigger still worrying about your level, your aim, and then if you're to your anchor.
Yeah.
So now you're going to end up not thinking about the trigger. Now you're just fucking up that. It's like, so you have to kind of have a process to check things off. And it's like sometimes when you're alone,
it's easy to just skip them.
It's very easy to skip them.
Or
very
just
easy to
go over them.
Go over them or worry about them the whole time.
Because
you're just a little unsure. You know what I mean? It's the same as like, that's why we send pictures of shoes to each other. Because you're like, hey, tell me if I'm fucked up on this or not.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I've looked at it too much right now. It's like hard to do that during a go. So having a striker there for you to be like, that's
this
good.
Is right or this is wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like, it's pretty cool that like you can tell Matt and Steven practice throughout the year together. So it's like,
yeah, it was really cool. Like I enjoyed watching Matt strike for Steven. Like it's cool. Like everything like a striker should be, he was doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's very cool. And so then you left there. Did you go to the Washington contest, or you were too sick?
No, I did it. So after Calgary, like I started getting sick after the banquet. Like so, I flew home and I could start to feel it like brewing.
At least you weren't sick on the plane.
No, I mean it was like a cold flu.
Okay.
Like it wasn't throwing up or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got home and I was just like done. And the shitty thing is like you take a week off for a contest, you have a whole week of horses to stack on to the next week. And so I had a bunch of horses scheduled that week too. And Oh man, it was stressful because I was like, I can't go, I can't make it
Yeah.
out. I gotta rest. So I pushed some horses out, and I ended up doing them like later that week. So I knew Virginia was coming up, and I knew we had our state contest. There's only 3 weeks to practice for Virginia, which is not enough time to practice for a contest.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, now I'm losing another week to being sick. And then I have to get all these horses done as well. So that was stressful in the sense of like, man, I'm just losing all this time to being sick that I could be out practicing. And, but I was able to get healthy enough that I was able to get 2 days in of practice before our state contest in Ellensburg. And we had Matt and James Findler judge, which is actually pretty cool to have them judge us. And then, and then after that, we had that got over on a Sunday, and then we flew out on a Wednesday to Virginia.
How'd you do at the contest?
Second place to Troy.
Okay. It's hard when you got a Troy at your local contest.
I did beat him in one class. I got him in the Eagle Eye.
Watch out.
I got him in the Eagle Eye.
That's
and
a good one.
It was enough to keep him on the ropes anyways. Like
Yeah.
the Eagle Eye, we had to fit we had to take 2 pieces of 3/8 3/4 and jump weld them together. And the Eagle Eye was a mule foot. So we had to Eagle Eye, and we weren't allowed to put a ruler on and measure. We had to do it all by eye. And
that's a hard one.
Yeah, I was able to get the win in the Eagle Eye, but then I was second in every other class from there. And then we had to in the shoeing, we had to shoe a pair of feet 3/4 fullard. And I was like, that's literally what Troy just got done doing. All these top 10 goes. I was like, he's practiced for this all year.
Yeah.
And it was kind of crazy. They gave us the worst feet. They were like, we're going to handicap you guys, and we're going to give you guys the shittiest feet. And Troy did a really good job. It was pretty busted up, flat. He had to use, I think, 3/8 by 1 on his horse, too. And he killed it. He did good.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's always cool to see.
Yeah, that was a tough shoe and go, and yeah, with some not so ideal feet.
Yeah.
And then
that's rough.
Yeah, and then just a couple days of practice. I think I was able to get like 2 nights in before leaving for Virginia, the WCB, and then then we started out with the Virginia WCB. They start with the match play on the first day, so you get a couple rounds in. And this one we had to do plain stamp bar shoes with a toe clip. And I remember
Tyson Clark's the judge.
We got Tyson Clark judging the Virginia WCB, and this is the 2-man class. So how do you go about judging shoes that have so much different elements in it, and one that kind of just has hardly any elements, but they are big elements?
Yeah, so the bevel comes down to, since it's a draft shoe, how well you can nail it on. And if it's going to be coarse enough to actually get into the white line, so at the top, you could all nail them on, and then I'll start deciphering which one matches my specimen the best. And there's only a couple that lay on the specimen, so then I have to go in which one's closest or easier to fix to make it look like my specimen. And that's how I'm doing the bevels.
You had mentioned that you had intentionally fullard one side more than the other. What was your intention with that?
Well, when I made the shoe, the horse I made this for is a bit longer on the inside than the outside. So when I was making the shoe, I came to my length.
Okay.
When I forged it, so I knew if I kept fullering it, it's gonna get long.
Okay.
So that was the intention behind that.
Sweet.
So.
And then how about with this toe extension? What are kind of the things you're straight to your eye that catches your eye and makes it go to the top or the bottom?
So the ones at the top are forged well.
Okay.
They're cleanly forged because it's real easy to pinch it too much here.
Yep.
And then make it broad here, and then pinch it too much here. Where, like these ones that they flow into the heels. Like in my specimen, my heels come pretty tight because I want those heels to sink for the intention of the toe extension.
That makes sense.
So you can see these ones are forged to the heels. And then after that, it does come down to just which one would be easiest to nail on the same foot I'm shoeing here.
Was it kind of hard when you got down towards like the middle?
It got hard when I got to here.
From there on back.
On back. And it's the same way with the bevels, from here on back.
There's a lot of draft shoes and a lot of toe extensions to judge today. Well, thank you, Tyson.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tyson Clark was judging. We had him on the podcast almost 2 years ago now, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
We got Tyson Clark. He's judging the Virginia WCB. We're at the Virginia State Fair, and he's going to talk about what he sees with the novice shoes and how he's been scoring the novice shoes.
So, first and foremost is nail placement. And when you come down here, there's some pretty decent shaped shoes, but they just aren't, the nails haven't been punched very good. The more unnailable they are, the further down the table they get.
Is that more as like coarse and fine, or
Exact, coarse and fine.
as they're being square in there as well?
And so right now, even for me, coarse and fine is the biggest part, and then I'll go through them and see which one's the most square.
Okay.
You know, fuller, better nail, the actual nail depth. You know, and coming into shapes. But unfortunately, even with all the shoes, like, it really shows how important tool maintenance is.
Yeah.
Because there's some shoes that are sitting right in here that if they just took a little more time to think about how they were punching their nail holes and how their tools were tuned, they might be a little further
A
up.
little further up. What do you like about the first place shoes then?
So the Hinds are pretty tough between these three right now because they each have one thing that's not good. This one's probably, I like this one the best, but then the real coarse in the heel nails, and that's the last place you want to be coarse.
Yep.
And then this one here gets fine in the toenail, and this one's punched real good, but it's not super flat. So in my mind, all I have to do is flatten that one and I can bolt it on easier, and these ones I'm gonna have to chip out
Yep.
in order to nail it on. This is a really nice shoe. It's a little racked, but they didn't bring that heel around.
Just hanging out
So
there.
if you look at it, it just doesn't have the shape we need. And it's almost the same thing with this one, and this one's real racked.
Oh yeah, I mean in this
It's
nail's
real
up.
racked.
I see.
And so, like, if you look, this is the group that I could nail on the quickest. These ones I'd have to get the shoe hot again.
Yep.
And then we just start going down the line, okay. You know, after that, I've got to get all these hot to work with them.
So what would you suggest for the future novice competitors for tomorrow or future novice WCB events?
So, foremost is tune your tools to your nails.
Okay.
And use those tools and practice nail placement. That's the biggest thing. And from all the WCBs I've been to, what I've noticed in the novice class is nail placement's usually what wins.
Yep. Oh, cool. Well, thank you, Tyson.
Yeah, you bet.
Oh yeah, I got this notification on my phone yesterday. It was our 3-year anniversary of starting the podcast.
3 years.
3 years. It's crazy.
That's nuts. Yeah, I didn't think it'd be that. For some reason, I thought we were like on year one almost.
It feels that way, right? Like we're just getting started, and
That's
freaking
crazy.
3 years have gone by.
3 years of it.
Yeah. But yeah, we had to do bar shoes to a foot, and the way it panned out, so the first rounds, like, they take forever because you got to get through all the competitors.
A lot of people. Yep.
And so the first day, I think I did 2 rounds of match play, and then we were done for the day. And then the second day of match play, I was in the top bracket still, and I only got to do 1 go in the second day. And then the third day, I think I had to do 4 or 5
Stacked
match
up
play
a little
goes.
bit.
Yeah, it started out as 10 minutes to make a bar shoe for a foot, and then it got down to 7 minutes,
Oh man,
which
it's
is
fast.
freaking fast.
Fast, and it's like hard too because it's like toe clip on a bar shoe is like no fudge room
Yeah.
at all. You're just kind of like it's got to come out. There's no closing heels at the last
Nope.
5 seconds. You know, you're
Yeah,
like,
could be a matter of like you
shut.
turned up way more on one side of a hockey
Just
stick than the other,
Too much. Yep.
you know, and then it could be racked as shit.
Yep. That's a hard one. So you guys, you got through the match play. You and Troy were the finals of the match play. The final top, like the top two for it.
Yeah, so I think it was like 2 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds. I think it was 2 rounds before the finals. I went against Mike Miller, and then I beat Mike Miller, and then the next round I was against Troy. So I had to go against Troy, and then I beat Troy in that, and then that put me into the finals. And then Troy had to go against Mike Miller in the bottom bracket, and then Troy beat Mike, and then it was Troy and I in the finals. And then so in the first round of the finals, they just did the straight bar, where so if I would have won that, I would have won the match play because I was in the top bracket. But they picked the foot that basically was the natural balance foot, where it's square in the toe.
It's all super tight in the heels.
Yeah, I made just too round of a shoe, and then they switch it up for the last round, like they just do something random, and
like a breaker a little bit.
Yeah, where like we had to make the Roadster out of 1-inch round or whatever, at Fort Worth, and at Edgewood they had them do the mule shoe with the toe bar on, and then so this one they picked 100 fit heart bar with a toe clip.
What do you think, Gavin? Let's do it. Time for boogie.
To begin.
We got the Mustad Match Play Finals in the Virginia WCB. In this round, we had to build a heart bar to a foot in 8 minutes. This was Troy Wood versus Gavin Cooper in the Match Play Finals. Start out, get that toe bend bent, and we had our system figured out all weekend where we would pull our toe clip in the first heat and then punch the toenails at the same time as well. All weekend long, we had to build straight bars in 8 minutes to a foot. So in the finals, they had picked and switched it up to heart bar. You want to hurry up and get that shoe into the fire as quick as you can so you can start forging on them branches. Now we have 6 minutes left. After building straight bars all weekend, you had to try and figure out a new system to make a heart bar. So you'd start by running it up for your frog plate and get that bent around and narrowed up so that it mimics the shape of the frog on that foot.
I think the thing that's the most impressive about this is it's all improv. There's like no rehearsal. You're just kind of going off the cuff. They don't really happen. There's not too many calls for a handstand toe flip hard bar.
You want to try to be smooth and efficient throughout this. There's not much time to make any mistakes, so you just want to have all your system in place, do the same step, and don't have to try to overdo and do something twice in a row. Neither of us had won a match play before. We had been to the finals before in previous WCB events, but one thing I noticed after editing this video was this is where Troy was able to gather the win in this match play finals. You can see he overlapped that frog plate more, and basically what come down to winning this class is how well it fits, and he was tighter in the heels, and that's what basically gave him the win. So now we got to go in. There wasn't much time to do 2 weld heats on this, so you had to hopefully get that stuck in 1 weld heat. Now Troy's going out for his weld.
It's going to be runner-up. 2 minutes. We should have left it at 6 minutes. Huh?
Craig thinks he's funny by knocking it down to 6 minutes, but holy cow, there would have been some pretty bad heart bars if we had to make that in 6 minutes. Holy cow, 8 minutes was tight enough. So now you got to finish off, get them nails fit. Troy's measuring to make sure his is in the parameters of which he had gathered in the beginning. So you get 10 seconds to look at that foot, so you can look at the foot, measure it, and that's how you figure out how much steel to cut. In this, we had cut 17 inches to make this, and you'll see what foot we had to make it to with Tyson Clark judging.
We got 15 seconds. 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Give him a big round of applause for a job well done. Good job.
Now we're here at the judging process where Tyson Clark's looking to see which one fits the best. So he's going to lay it on there and he's just checking it. And it's pretty clear after looking at it, I was just really wide in the heel. Congrats to Troy Wood on winning the Mustad Match Play Finals. And that was in 8 minutes, I think.
Really?
8 or 10 minutes.
Fast.
It was too fast.
It's too fast.
Yeah.
Did you guys both get shoes made?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so that was another thing that's like with the video, and I had Marcus video it. And what it came down to was Troy's fit a lot better in the back half. Like I was too wide. Like his actually fit. And like when I was watching the video, going back, making the reel, I could see exactly where Troy was able to get that win. Was he just overlapped the frog plates over on top of each other, whereas I just kind of halfway
Got the
overlapped
tip.
them. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how
You
he was
probably
able to do it.
got the tip, and you probably didn't get like a sport horse bar shoe, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And so it's like you didn't get these tight enough.
Exactly.
You know, those little loops, because those do take like a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
To get where there's not, to where you don't have an archness.
Yeah.
To that back quarter. So it's like, I watched that in the video too. It's like Troy just took like that few seconds.
You have to tighten it up.
To tighten that radius up and to overlap it a little bit more. That makes sense that he just had it fit up a little bit better in the back half.
Yeah, he fit it. I mean, that's what match play comes down to, is who can fit it the best. And
it's all about knowing, like you said, like, do I have the time to get that tighter?
Yeah, it was tight on time, man. Like,
hard.
I had to take a second weld heat on my frog plate, and that's kind of what hurt me. Like, he did one weld heat and was able to roll on. So if I didn't have to take that second weld heat, I probably could have tightened it up a little bit more.
Yep.
But
you
live and you learn.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But overall, for the weekend, ended up pretty good for you.
Yeah. Troy won the contest, and then I was second behind him, and then Carl got third, and then Mason Molesky in fourth. So
pretty sweet.
Yeah, not too upset about that. And one thing,
I think it's a big testament for you and Troy that you and Troy have practiced so much together this year.
Yep.
That you guys were first and second.
Yeah, we kind of thought that was cool when we were driving home, you know, like when you talk about it and you practice and you're like, yeah, it'd be nice to end up 1 and 2. And then it actually happened, you know, so.
No, it says a lot about the practice sessions, I think.
Yeah. And another thing that I learned was, like, to go back to the concave class at Calgary, where my tool's not being tuned up, I made a really nice mule shoe in the individual day, but 3 of my nails didn't drop. I mean, they went in, but they just didn't go all the way down.
They weren't sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And
they're proud.
Tyson said, like, this shoe would be in first, but those nails don't go all the way down. So
dude, that's a big hit.
Another lesson on tool maintenance and making, you know, tools fit.
Yeah. It's a difference between, like, getting tools close and then tools, like,
kicking the nut.
It's so hard during practice, though, when you only get so much practice time to be like, I'm going to spend this practice session just fitting tools.
Yeah.
It feels like a waste of time.
And that's hurt me a couple times now, where just nail fit was a big one.
Yep.
And it's hard. Yeah, like you said, when you have so short a little bit of time to practice, you're like, I got to spend it on punching nails. Like,
it's so hard.
Yeah, you have to get yourself to do it.
Yep. And it's always like that thing where it's like when I go into someone's shop or something and they don't have like I don't think you do. Do you have a grinder right now? Like an actual
just a 10-inch expander.
Yeah. It's like a cheap like Grizzly style grinder can be so good for getting good nail fit and tool maintenance.
Yeah, the grinder that Troy had. Every time I go to his shop, I'm always, before I leave, I like tune up all my stuff because he's got a nice, you know.
Yep, a grinder with a platen.
Exactly.
With a flat plate. It's like it's worth it.
Especially for tuning punches.
For tuning punches and fullers and such like that, it's like, man, it's really hard to get them tuned sweet without it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it's something I'm learning.
Yeah.
It's a hard lesson learned.
Oh, it is, man. Yeah, it's like, and it's hard too because like we all can be cheap, you know. You're like, well, fuck, that's like a $600 grinder, and it's like, yeah, but you're spending so much traveling.
Yeah.
What's $600 spread out over? I mean, heck, I got a Grizzly out there that's made so many tools, and it's 10-year life, 12-year life with me.
Yeah, I remember when you got that grinder, like,
dude,
it was a long time ago.
You aren't gonna kill one. That's for sure. So it's like if you spend $600 on it and it lasts you 10 years of contests and tool building and project work, you know, it's like pretty worth it over that spread out. Yeah, it's going to be a good investment. You don't have to go buy $4,000 grinder. You know what I mean? A $600 grizzly can really do a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm learning that. And then I also need to buy me a fire pot.
You do, yeah. That'll help, dude.
Funny, Dan Salcido is like, I'm going to start a GoFundMe so we can get some money to get you a new pot. And I was like, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
And even Ashley yesterday, she's like, tell me what you want for Christmas. And I was like, I don't know. And then I started thinking about it. This is what I want for Christmas. I sent her a link of it this morning. She's like, holy shit, that's expensive.
Yeah. Dude,
Like,
it's
no,
like
you don't
the
have
thing
to
that
give me
keeps
that.
me is like, I'll probably never own a side blast forge or a bottom blast forge
Yeah.
ever again. They're so expensive for a pot. And I just like, for a consumable,
Yeah.
if it was something you could buy and it didn't go shit in a year and a half, cool.
Yeah, I have had that for 10 years now, though, which is...
Oh, dude, you've like squeezed every bit of life out of that thing.
I've welded it together, I think, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And I welded it together so that when I was hauling it, it didn't fall out and I lost it forever and be totally fucked at the contest.
That is crazy that you've been able to haul it at all. Like, and it not just crumble into
No
1,000
kidding.
pieces. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny,
that's
man.
pretty crazy.
No, it's like we're kind of out at the next contest is Fort Worth in December.
Yep. We got
So
Vincent
got a
LaMille
break.
and John Julian Reme. They're judging
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Fort Worth one, and there's gonna be some tough shoes. There is some tough shoes on that. Like there's the draft
it's
bar
different
shoe.
style.
Yeah. And then
I
the
think
draft
that's cool about
spavin. Like
Yeah, the draft spavin's a doozy.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, "Oh, that's not fun. That's not
Yeah.
a fun one." That one makes my tongue hand hurt just looking at it.
So should I'm gonna go make some of those shoes this weekend with Troy. Get some of the 2-man shoes started out,
Perfect.
and hopefully get a
Get a
grasp
good jump
on them.
start on it.
Yeah. I've made a couple of the individual shoes so far, and they're a little bit tricky in the sense of figuring out to get them to come to measurement and stuff. But
Yep.
Bevels are hard, dude. I hate doing bevels, man. It's just because I haven't done many of them,
You and me both, man. They're just like, they always look like enough bevel in the straight, and then you get them turned, you're like, fuck, there's
It wasn't
none
enough.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you think you're like, you get in the straight, you're like, yeah, that's looking kind of skinny. That's sectioned up.
Yeah.
And you turn it and you're like, what a chunky pile of shit.
Exactly.
Like, man,
Yeah.
like, this thing isn't going to go on nothing.
The first couple I made, they were like that. I was like, yeah, this would be good. And then chunky.
Dude, because it's a hind bevel, right?
No, it's a front.
Okay.
But it's not
That's-
like a typical table shoe. Like it's got a high outside quarter and then a low inside.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It isn't like, I remember seeing it now. I
Yep.
remember seeing it now. It's definitely like, is for a horse.
Yeah, for a foot, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
the
like a
copy
table.
of Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I like those shoes like that, but they're hard.
Yeah, especially when you're just struggling to make a regular bevel,
Yeah.
like just a table type.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You're
that's-
like, I'm trying to. Symmetry's even hard for me.
So that's the hard thing with that is just trying to figure out how to make a bevel.
Yeah, where to be at on the horn. Keep making it sweeter as you go.
Thankfully, so at Virginia in the 2-man class was a hammer finish draft hind bevel, so
That's where the hind one was.
we were kind of making bevels for that, so
Yep.
it kind of transpires into the next contest, but same
Yeah,
but
and just-
different.
Getting somewhat of a tight toe on the bevel is the hard part. So it's like going
Yeah.
from a hind to just a more of an open point, like a pointy front,
Mm-hmm.
is at least still somewhat in the ball game. It's just getting that toe bend down.
And it has a masslet clip on this
Nice.
one. Yeah.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
sweet.
Let me show you how I rip this bad dog
Uh-huh.
out. It's like, so you want a big dollop in there or
Yeah.
a little dollop? There's going to be a dollop either way.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they're rough.
Yeah, so kind of something that we should talk about on here this episode is coming out here, we're going to be doing another run of Forge and Brand t-shirts. And what we wanted to do is we've put together like a forging set in a kit. So it comes with like, for Wellshaw donated a Cliff Carroll rounding hammer. Yukon Forge, he's donated a clip and hammer and a couple other tools. And throughout our Farrier boxes, like we have multiple sets of these tools. So we've kind of put together, like we've got tongs, punches, center punch.
I got a set of, there was like a pair of Bloom tongs that I did a video on not that long ago of modifying the ends.
Yep, making them hot fits.
Yep, so we got those in there. Me and Gavin, we made just the novice shoes for WCB.
Yep, the plain stamp.
We just made the plain stamp shoes, so that's going to go in with the giveaway. So it's a pretty good little, not even too little. WCB jumped in with us on it.
Yeah, so the WCB, they're donating an entry to the novice at a future contest. So it might not be Fort Worth because it's coming up so soon. So maybe Amarillo for the next year. And then, so basically the way it's going to work is if you guys purchase a t-shirt, it gets you entered into the drawing to then win this whole forging set of tools.
Yep.
And
whole giveaway. Kind
of something I was thinking about is, say you have all these tools and you don't necessarily need these tools and you're like, I don't care if I win them. Well, maybe you have like an apprentice or somebody that's looking to get into horseshoeing or blacksmithing. You could give that to them as like an incentive, like, here you go, so it could help, somebody that's just getting into it as well.
Yeah, somebody, if you know somebody that you've just been watching online or something, like if you don't have an apprentice and you're like, this person's like, you can tell they're on the cusp of doing real good.
Yep.
Might be a sweet way, or we can help if you get to that point and you want help choosing somebody. Yeah. I'm sure me and Gavin both have people on our radars that would be great for it. So it's like, I think it'll be a cool deal that could help somebody get into that next step.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be pretty fun. And the shirts that we have, they're going to be coming out. They're the tan color.
Yep. We got the sand colors, so it's like they don't show dirt and grime too much. They look nice still. It's our logo that was designed by El Rey, the skeleton guy. It's got our sponsors on it and everything. And on top of that, they're all were made by Mason Molesky's wife with their company. All of the screen printing was done by them and everything. So it's helps support just right into our little community. Stays right in with us.
This episode is brought to you by Yukon Forge. Lately, John has come up with a new design on his punches. So previously, they were wooden-handled punches, and now he's re-innovated his line where they're welded-on steel-headed punches. So he's got E-heads and City heads up on his website now. He's also got every other tool that you could need and use in your everyday practice available on his website, yukonforge.com. He's taken over the drive and hammer business from Flatland Forge, and now it's all Yukon Forge, and they have the Edward Martin style hammer as well with the thistle on there. You can check that out. I use it every day in my shoeing practice now, so it's dang sure it works pretty dang good, so I'm happy with it. John's also come up with the propane nut to make ease of tightening on your propane for your forge to the propane bottle and not have to have a wrench on hand. He's got the 2-pound hammers, 1 3/4 rounding hammers, 2.5, 2 1/4, anything you could need, he's got it on his website. He's also got replacement handles. If you need to replace a handle in one of your hammers, you can find those on there as well. So when you go to yukonforge.com, use code BRAINS and save yourself a little bit of money and get 10% off your order. I don't think of it a better idea than that. He's also got hoof knives on there, left-handed and right-handed. He's got tongs in every size that you can need, from 1/4 inch up to 1/2 inch and probably 5/8 inch as well. So go on his website and check him out. We really like working with John because he takes the time to figure out how to make each tool the best that it can possibly be. He's not trying to sell you some gimmick or something that just, it's going to be easier to make it this way. He actually takes the time, figure out the process on how to make this tool the best tool that it can be to last for your everyday work, and he wants to get your money's worth out of it as well. And John's also been there, done that throughout his career. He's been on the American Farriers team. He's judged multiple contests, and he's also had a full career as a farrier, and he's now just getting into bigger, better things. So go check him out, yukonforge.com. Thank you. Yeah,
So it's all
which
kind
is
of
really
a good
cool.
deal.
You know, this just
Yeah.
kind of helps us be able to, try and get more content out for you guys, and hopefully down the road, kind of like what we'd like to do is just be able to get together with more guys and just do them in person. Like those ones
Yep.
seem to be the most fun, and I think that's kind of our ultimate goal.
Exactly. Yeah, that's our hope with this thing.
And we're coming
Like,
up on our 100th episode, so I think this is like episode 82 or something like that.
Yep.
As far as like our main episodes, like we did a couple of the extra fun ones, like I don't necessarily count those as like the main ones, and kind of something we were thinking. So maybe you guys could drop a comment and give us some ideas as well, who you would think would be a badass lineup. But we're almost thinking like it'd be sick if we did the dream team when Craig, Shane, Bob, and then Jim Poor were on the team that year. Like if we
Yep.
did an episode with all of them, that'd be really cool for our 100th episode.
Yep.
And but if you guys have other ideas on who would make a good 100th episode, drop it in a comment and let us know.
Drop them in there. Yeah. This is still a show we do for everybody else too as well. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to let us know what you guys are kind of wanting to hear about.
And something else that we were thinking for the winter clinic, which is going to be in January, I talked with Craig and Christine, and we're thinking about doing a live podcast. So basically doing a live stream, and we'd set up kind of in that common area, not where the clinics are going on, but kind of where the vendors are, and maybe just doing a live podcast stream there. So if you're not at the winter clinic, you could watch it live and see what's going on.
Yep. No, about it. And if you are trying to make plans for your winter and everything, try to make it to the winter clinic. Like it really is. Like me and Gavin have both been to all the big events. Mm-hmm. Every big event there is in horseshoeing, we've been to them. The winter clinic is the best, and I guess we're not just saying. I know that'd be easy. Like, yeah, that's your guys' clique, that's your guys' group, and everything. It's like it is because that's the hardest working one. It's like it's the one where like everybody's dirty and smiling,
and you're gonna get the most out of it.
Yeah, man. It's like the top vendors are there. No BS is there. You're not going to like have a grain company trying to sell you supplements or something.
Yeah.
They're all horseshoeing tools, horseshoeing people, like things that are in the market that you actually need. And it's like the people that are doing the demos are very vast.
Yeah.
That's something I really like. And it's vast and not just talk.
Yeah.
They're showing, it's getting shown with your hands right there. So it is like
stuff you can put into
really
your work right away, like as soon as you get home.
Yep. And no matter what, everybody else tries to kind of copy it and create a hands-on section at these other events.
And it's hard.
There is no bigger hands-on section than the winter clinic.
Yeah, it has all 10 forges, actually 12 forges.
I think there's like 14 or so, because there's usually 4 individual stations off the backside.
Yep.
There's like 14 stations going about, and
endless amounts of coke, endless amounts of
steel, endless amounts of help.
Yeah.
There is so many top hands that just stay out there helping all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so cool. So like if you were on the fence or looking for something to do, either way, I think it's probably the most well priced one.
Yeah, I mean,
because it just costs you your membership.
Yeah, you become a member of the WCB and it's free.
Yep, parking's free outside of Amarillo.
Yep.
The hotel and the nightlife around Amarillo is really nice.
Yeah, there's always something to do.
Man, it's my favorite. It's the one. Like, I'm not going to a lot of things right now, and it's the one I go to every year.
Yeah,
because it's the best one for sure.
Something that I think that's really cool to hear is, people that go for their first time. So, like, they hadn't been to it, and they would say, "Thanks for telling us about it on the podcast, because I wouldn't have went unless I heard it, and I'm glad that I went, and I'm going to be going back again for years to come." Like,
yeah, man, and I think last year it was huge.
Yeah,
there was a huge line, people waiting to get in and everything, like to sign up for that first day. I think everybody dissipates, and there's plenty of room to see, and they do a very good job, IT-wise, of having screens and mics everywhere, so you can hear the speakers and see them very, very well.
They're evolving as well as it gets bigger and more people attend.
And so I think like, man, get in while it's still this.
Yeah.
Well, because like you never know how much bigger it's going to have to be just by demand. So it's like you don't want to be the person that's like, oh, did you go when it was still in small, like somewhat small? Like,
Yeah.
go experience it while it's still
And it's at Wellshod, like
at Wellshod in this cool deal
Wellshod's
because
Costco Farrier supplies.
it is. Yeah, it's honestly it's a great deal.
So
It's
sick.
it's very family barbecue.
Yeah.
Compared to business Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like some events you're like this. No one feels welcome, and it's all kind of weird. This
Yeah,
one
like
is very family barbecue and cool and laid back.
not to kind of shame the convention, but like the convention centers, they're so large and so spread out, and
They kind of have the unwelcome feelings. Where,
yeah,
like,
and
you're afraid to get dirt on the floor.
yeah, exactly. And then there's security guards at the door, and you're like, "Am I in the right place?"
It's kind of the nature of the beast, with the convention centers. So it is like the other one being at Wellshot and everything. It's homey. Like
Yeah.
It's you feel very welcome as soon as you walk in. You get to wander everywhere, so it's really cool.
I'm looking forward to it, and they moved it up this year, so it's in January and not February.
Perfect.
So I think it's like January 14th.
Right on. No, it'll be a good time. Hopefully, a lot of people show up for it.
Yeah,
Start reserving your spot maybe early because you never know if it's just going to fill up.
yeah, that's true.
They'll have to cap it eventually.
Well, I think this has been a pretty good episode to talk about what's been going on.
Yeah, man. No, I'm glad you at least did something this whole entire time. I spent my whole entire September in the woods.
Yeah, you went down to Texas, right?
Yeah. So I hunted about 20 days here in Oregon for elk.
Yep.
And like Andrew Neilson came over from Pennsylvania
that's
this
right.
year.
Yeah, that's right.
That was cool, man. Me and him haven't hung out like quite a while, like in person. So it's like we went from seeing each other all the time, competing and everything, to
Yep.
kind of both of us taking a break. And so it was really cool.
Did you guys see anything or get anything?
No, we saw elk quite a bit and everything. We ended up shooting one. It was cool because like he's never seen an elk in person. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Oh, really?
the first time we had a cow elk at like 40 yards, he like looks over. He's like, "That thing's huge." Like, yeah, dude.
Bigger than a cow.
he got the full experience though. We took him through a bunch of shitty brush and climbing
Yeah.
a bunch of mountains. So like it was good. It was fun to hang out with him and be in the woods.
Were you guys archery or
Yep.
rifle?
Bow.
Bow.
Yeah, September here is all bow. And so
Okay.
the elk are rutting and talking. It was just a weird year. That was like when he was here, it was still very, very hot. And
Yeah.
the elk were like barely talking. Like we could get them to respawn in the middle of the night
Oh,
type
really?
deal. But then during the daytime, they're pretty hushy, pretty quiet. So you're trying to sneak in on them.
And you can't
That's
shoot them
always
at night,
nice.
right?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No. At nighttime, you just kind of like, you'll end up going around and like bugling just to locate them. So you
Yeah.
know where to start in the morning. But then in the morning time, they would just be so quiet and or the wind is so bad when it's hot like that. It's just blowing all over the place that it's kind of hard. I ended up passing on a couple elk because like, there's a bigger one around. So it's like, I screw myself with that sometimes.
Yeah, that is a tricky.
I'll always wait for the bigger one. So it's like that kind of got me a couple times this year, but you don't know until you put all your eggs in that basket.
But you're also, like, Chelsea's going to end up getting a cow later, right?
Yes. So that's kind of like, I'm pretty blessed at that part of like, we'll still get an elk
For
in
the
the
freezer.
freezer to eat.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, I don't put too much. I would rather wait and try to shoot a real good bull.
Yeah.
And because we'll get the meat.
Right.
So, yeah. So, yeah, Chelsea will probably shoot a cow here after a while. They've been around still, so that's nice. And then, yeah, I went from there. I had like a week off in between the end of elk season, and then I went down to West Texas to a place called Topo, Texas, and hunted these sheep called Aoudad.
Aoudad?
Aoudad.
When I saw your post, I thought it was a misspelling.
No, that's it. It's Aoudad. They're kind of a weird.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Like, I guess they got released in like the 30s.
Okay.
And they've just flourished down there in that area. And so there's a whole bunch of them.
And it was
on these
Topo,
areas.
Texas is where you're at?
Topo.
Topo?
Yeah, Topo, Texas. That's the outfitter's name. The
Okay.
ranch that we're at is called Baracho.
Baracho.
And the place used to be owned by Tommy Lee, the guy from Men in Black.
Oh, Tommy Lee Jones?
Yep.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
cool.
and then, like, so I guess there's been like a movie that has been filmed out there and everything, and like a couple songs written about the place. The place was very West Texas, of like big plateaus, big cactuses everywhere.
How
like,
far were you from like Abilene then?
4 hours. It was a 4-hour drive west. So I landed in Midland, and then I drove like 2 hours west from Midland.
Oh, okay.
And so we're only like 40 miles away from Mexico.
Oh shit. Yeah, because I'm looking at it on the map right now, trying to see where exactly.
I was near a town called Van Horn.
Van Horn.
That was the closest town. Huge ranch. It's like this ranch is over like 100,000 acres, continuous, that we're on. It's just a big working cattle ranch, and then this outfitter leases, and they get to hunt these animals. The animals are all considered an exotic.
Okay.
So there's really not a season on them or anything. And these landowners end up selling them through the outfitters.
Yeah, you were really close to Mexico then.
Very close. yeah, like pretty dang close.
That's crazy.
And so there was just, dude, it was kind of wild. I had never seen an aoudad before going down there, and then all of a sudden, we're in them. They were everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity on them.
So is there a lot of like stipulations in the sense of like it's got to be the right size or right maturing age?
Not really, like legally wise, but for this outfitter, yes. This outfitter is very strict on they shoot old things.
Yep.
And since they've done that for so long, we saw lots of old things.
Old things?
Like big animals, old animals. And so it's like, I probably saw 7 or 8 nice rams in that size caliber.
Okay.
Like that they were good. And so, yeah, and it was like, we were hunting for those, and the hunting guide, like, he was able to take an elk off the place, a bull elk.
What my next question was.
And there's not really a tag for it or anything, and they don't really sell tags for them through this outfitter. They just keep them for themselves because they only end up taking like 2 bulls off the place a year.
Okay.
And so the outfitter and the guide shoot one every year.
Oh, nice.
And so the guide, the first night I was there, the guide's like, yeah, I'm allowed to take a bull off the place. So we were just looking for one that night. And I told him, the guide was the same age as me. We kind of grew up the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was just a really cool dude to hang out with. And I told him, I was like, dude, if we see a bull elk, screw my sheep hunt.
Let's take it.
You shoot an elk. Because he had never shot an elk before. And
really?
Yeah, so it's kind of cool that the one day we were just like, we didn't see any sheep, and I was just shooting some rocks.
Shooting rocks?
See where the gun was hitting, you know? Like we were shooting rocks far out.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden these elk just started moving through the area. And I was like, handed the gun off to him. We ended up switching off. He shot that bull. So that kind of took that whole day up, us taking care of that.
Yeah.
Getting it out of there. And then the next day I shot that ram. And so it kind of was just like a crazy whirlwind of a deal. Like each day something was getting shot that was nice.
Was there a lot of people with you guys on the guide, or was it just you two?
No, it was me and him. Like that's where we would go around most of the day. And then this old man went with us a little bit, but he was there before. He was hunting antelope, and he was just this funny old rancher dude with his red light therapy boots and everything.
Red light therapy boots?
Oh yeah, I'll have to send you a picture of him. Man. He was so funny. Like he was just like this rich oil and gas cattle rancher.
Yeah.
Guy from Oklahoma that was just the nicest dude ever.
That's
just
funny.
like the camp life of it was really, really entertaining. Like it reminded me a lot of being at a horseshoe event, like with some younger guys doing things and some older dudes like still hanging out. It's
like having Jim Moore in the background or something.
Yes. It was my first time being on a guided hunt, and I really enjoyed like the whole entire.
Was it hot out?
Dude, so hot.
Oh, really?
Dude, like it was like 90 the one day, and we were like on this plateau sneaking around. And I told the dude, I'm like, dude, I'm dying. I'm not used to this much sunshine.
We
I'm like,
barely got 90 degrees at all this year.
That's I told him. I was like, dude, we barely got above 90. I'm like, I don't see this much sun the whole year. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've had more sun today than I've had in the past year. And like, this is a bit like, he shot that elk and we were sitting there tearing him down. And I like realized, I was like, man, it's like almost 4 o'clock and I haven't eaten
Yeah.
or drank any. The dude is like, so I got like heat stroke packing that elk out. I'm like dying over there. It was rough, dude. It was hard but I don't know. It wasn't too bad. It was like you can drive like within 1,000 yards of everything around there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like only the walking you have to do is just up those cliffy areas and everything where you can't drive.
So you can park and then walk in.
Yeah. It's not like at home where we got to walk 5 miles behind a gate.
And then camp where you're at for the night.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so it wasn't too bad. It was good, man. And I got down a little early, so I boogied out of there and I drove to Abilene.
Yeah, you got to spend some time.
With Thor. Yeah.
And you went to Glenn Pointer's shop as well, right?
Yeah, Glenn lives right next door to Jim.
Okay.
And Glenn, like I don't know, like a ton of people in the horseshoeing, a lot of people do know him, but some people might not. Glenn is mostly like a bit and spur and saddle hardware maker now.
Okay.
He was a farrier as well. That's how him and Jim became friends.
Yep.
And they're neighbors, and they're just like best buds. It's really fun to be around both of them at the same time. Glenn learned a lot of his bit and spur making from Clapper.
Oh, really? Billy Clapper. That's cool.
And so it's still, I'd love anytime you get to go to Pointers and just have him tune on stuff, or you know what I mean, get some knowledge from him. So it was great getting to hang out with just those two dudes with nobody else around. It was
Glenn
a good time.
Building anything when you were there, or was he kind of just in the middle of the project or something?
No, he wasn't really doing much. He said he was going to start making on some bits in the next couple of days, that he had some sold.
Okay.
But yeah, he wasn't doing too much. He's kind of getting a little bit up there in age, so he's not having as easy a time mounting silver and stuff, I don't think. But dude, his stuff is still
top notch.
Looks amazing. Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then we got since I was in the area, we went over to the Goodings, to Sam and Kate Goodings, and Sam and them are making some bits and spurs and like Sam's just one of those most talented people that you ever see. Like, yeah, we went into his little engraving shop and he had a buckle sitting there that was just like,
really,
one of the nicest buckles.
Really,
like silver work and just design and everything. Like,
what was he making the buckle for?
It's for another guy, for some guy that was gonna get baptized, so it was like his rebirth buckle. It was kind of cool. I don't want to give away too much, but it's like I just like the design work and the silver work on it was so clean and classy. Like, man, I stared at it for a while. It's like it's so wild sometimes what horseshoers end up doing. Like, there's some very talented people.
Yeah, just outside of making horseshoes. One of those.
Yep.
That's cool.
Sam's one of those guys, and he's a very selfless person, so he's like doesn't want to take too much credit for any of it, but he is very good. Kate has that place running really smoothly. Like, they got some young high school kids hired from the local area.
Oh, that's cool.
Helping them out. It was just like one of those things. You're like, they're doing good.
Right.
It was very cool to see. So all in all, it was a cool little quick trip down to Texas.
Yeah, it'd be fun to have Sam on the podcast one of these days.
For sure. I agree, man. It'd be a good one.
Yeah, him and Kate. Yeah, so buckle up. We got Travis Coons. He's going to be coming out here soon.
Yeah.
Too, so.
Yeah. Schedule some long drives. That you need something to listen to. It'll be good.
My camera's going to die here soon, so probably got to wrap this up. All right, man.
Cool. Well, it was good catching up with you.
Yep.
Seeing how everything went. Thanks, everybody, for sticking with us during the little break, and we'll start bringing some more of this to your way.
Yep. We'll have more episodes coming out soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.